Okay, hello everybody. This is like literally first time I've ever done a YouTube upload. So I just want to start out with I live in Texas. Um, I'm a 42-year-old mother of 7 kids. Yes, 7 total. 2 I birthed, and 5 are my stepkids, but I raised them and really have become more of the mom than the biological mothers. The 3 we have living with us all have the same mom. Let's just leave it as the mom's a train wreck. Best way to describe. She's got a boyfriend, more concerned about the boyfriend and his kids. So, I was a single mother of 2. Like I said, my kids are 12 years apart. I have a son that will be 23, and I have a daughter that is 10. Those are my biological children. I was a single mother with both of them. Raised them, did everything I could my kids never did without. Loved my kids wholeheartedly. My son's father was a police officer. Didn't want anything to do with them. In fact, wanted me to have an abortion. When I wouldn't do that. And mind you, his dad and I were together for almost 4 years. It's not like we were one night stand or anything. We were high school sweethearts. I wouldn't have an abortion. Found out he was cheating on me. He now is currently married to the woman he was cheating on me with, and now has 2 other children and pretends like he never had a son at all. Again, don't know how you can do that, but I'm very proud of my son. He works in and lives in Colorado. Works in the oil field, making great money, more money than I make. Doing really well. So to those of you who think that single moms can't raise kids and can't raise kids to be successful, that's so untrue. I, in fact, was not wealthy. At times, I worked 2 to 3 jobs to support my kids. Never once was on welfare. Matter of fact, let's just put this out there. I am white, obviously. Not downing those people that need welfare or have had to have it. I do understand there's people out there that need it. My issue with it is there's a lot more of the people that don't and just abuse it. For me, for instance, like I said, I worked 3 jobs at some points to put food on the table because I was one of those where I made too much and couldn't qualify for anything, which is pretty sad because let's face it, I mean, you know, I was a single mom. Yes, I did get child support for both my kids. That leads us to where this video is about. My daughter is 10. A year ago, she had been having severe stomach issues ongoing for several years. Never could figure it out. Did allergy testing, found out she's allergic to cheese, or to dairy, period, and peanuts. So, they put her on a strict diet, followed by the diet, you know, things got better, for a little bit, not very long. Then it started getting worse again, the pain. And I'm talking like, couldn't hardly walk, excruciating pain, crying, you know, missed school, I'd miss work, and again, you know, this went on for quite a while. Well, she had a bout last year, with this pain, and I decided, you know, it was 8 o'clock at night, and, you know, she couldn't even walk. I mean, physically, literally could not walk. Was screaming bloody murder, you know, didn't want to move, nothing. So, I loaded her up, took her to Dell Children's Center, which is a big hospital here in Austin that is strictly, you know, for kids. So I thought, well, you know, I've taken her to other emergency rooms around the area we live in, and, you know, which we live in a suburb outside of Austin, and they never really, they just kept always saying it was gas. I'm like, okay, yeah, gas is going to cause you to not be able to walk, right? Yeah. So they kept her. She was in the hospital for 3 days. They were releasing her. We got home, and it was on a Saturday afternoon, and we were in the bathroom, and we were talking. She had, done better. They did all kinds of testing on her. Basically, again, found out she's just got a severe allergy. She's got to be gluten-free. They did thorough testing. I was really glad that I took her there. So we were talking in the bathroom, and she was brushing her hair, and she told me she had to tell me something. And I said, okay. And I said, what you got to tell me, honey? And she said, well, it's about my dad. And I said, okay. I said, well, I said, what about your dad? And she goes, well, you're not going to like it when I tell you. And I'm like, okay. So I started thinking, like, all these things are going through my head. I'm like, okay, what did he do? Like, did he beat her? Or, during that time, her dad, quite messed up man. I'll just leave it at that. I seriously thought he was in drugs. So I thought, okay, she saw him doing drugs. That was my first thought, and he was only allowed to have her when he was at his dad's house. That was a stipulation that I put on for her being around him during that time because, at least I wanted somewhat of her being safe. And so we're sitting there, and I said, well, go ahead and tell me, what's wrong. It's still in my mind. I'm totally thinking she's going to tell me that, he's on drugs. Or she saw him doing some kind of drug something. And she goes, well, he did something bad to me. And I said, very concerned, I said, what do you mean he did something bad to you? And she goes, well, he did something really bad, like with sex. And I'll never forget it. And I'll never forget how I felt. Oh, I was angry. And I just was like, what? What is even coming out of my child's mouth? She's 10, for God's sake. Like, what? She doesn't know anything about sex. Like, what? And I said, well, what do you mean? What do you mean it has to do with sex? And she said, well, Daddy was touching his penis. And he kept hollering my name, and I was sleeping, and he made me wake up. And when I woke up, I saw him, and he was standing over me, and he was, like, rubbing his penis. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm just, like, lost, flabbergasted. Like, I'm like, I don't understand this. Like, this just come out of my 10-year-old. I mean, I'm processing this all in my brain. Of course, not saying anything, just like shock mode. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, is this real? Am I in a dream? And I look at her, and she starts bawling, and my heart breaks. And I'm like, how does a dad do this to the child? I will never be able to understand that. And then I wanted to get my gun. And I'm not a mean or hateful person. But all I wanted to do was get my gun, get in the car, and go over there and shoot that motherfucker straight in the head for doing what he did to my daughter. I give my life for both of my children. And a lot of people don't talk about this stuff because they don't want to, they don't want people to know. I myself was sexually molested as a child, so I know how it feels. I never told because I didn't think anybody would believe me. And I kept that in for a very long time by a man who was like a grandfather to me. And then when my grandmother died, he was at the funeral. He came up to me in his cologne. And basically had blocked it out. And I smelt his cologne. And that's what brought all the members back. So I knew exactly how